Welcome back to the greenhouse, guys. We're gonna go check on our compost heater real fast. Week and a half after we've built it here. 140, 139. Saw some steam coming off the top here. It is absolutely freezing out. It's just getting colder and colder. Oh, so what we're doing today is finishing off our pond. So why am I using newspaper for a basin liner of my pond? Because simply it's going to add padding. I just covered up any sharp objects that are going to push through. And the newspaper is going to decompose into a substance called gley, G-L-E-Y. Now, this is water repellent. It's going to be like a powdery mildew type stuff that if there is a minute hole poked from the outside, it's going to be water repellent, and there's going to be so much weight that will pack it down, and we will not have any water seepage, even if there is a decent sized hole in it. Now, you can use expensive geothermal textiles to line your pond to do the same act. It's going to protect it and it's going to seal it if there is a minor leak, but if you know us, I got all these for free, so I'm not going to pay for something very expensive for a greenhouse pond. And I'm really trying to get this done because we've got some seriously cold negative temperatures coming, and I want to have a whole bunch of water in here as a huge 1,000+ gallon thermal mass. So the next thing is that big roll of, right there, that big roll of insulation. Now it's got different R values based on where you put it and how you face it. So we're going to just double it up. It's like a 25-foot roll. Got it for $50, and I used my Menards 11% rebates. I've been saving them for months, and I put them all together, and I had like $70 free for Menards. So if you're a Midwesterner, you know what I'm talking about. I got that roll for free plus some other little goodies. So it did cost $50, but it was free to me. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that out, put some more newspaper in, and then we've got our basin to throw our pond liner in. So I unsheathed it from its plastic wrap. Now, on average, it's looking like a decent R6, R20, R7, 4.5. Basically, however you use this, it changes the insulating properties. So nothing crazy, super thin and malleable. So I will be able to just line it against the wall, trim it to fit, and then that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want solid ridge foam, any double-sided insulation, solid panel insulation. I just wanted to use something that was like basically a roll-on, so this was perfect. Well, after much struggle, we've got the pond liner basically set. Doesn't look the best right now because we're going to trim a bunch off of this side here, but our hose absolutely froze up on us. We got the hose running from across the yard. It was clear. We had it in the garage thawing out. In the process of just flowing the water into here, it all froze up on us. So we're going to empty the entire hose and come back tomorrow. So I did spend the last like 15-20 minutes trying to unthaw our hose, and it did not work. I'm out here in socks walking on this, so I'm not damaging it. And then I just pressed it all in here. So we will be back in the morning Hopefully it's a little warmer outside. Hopefully our hose is 100% clear and thawed by tomorrow. My son's down here.
I cut the power in.
Making pine rosin and some concoction here. Welcome back to the greenhouse this morning. We're finishing off the pond video. We had a snowstorm overnight. It's been rough. Before we even take a look at the pond here, let's run outside. Oh yeah, it's just a full bore snowstorm. So we've got about 138, 139. Maybe we lost maybe a degree of heat from all of the temps. You can see steam rolling off. The compost is just melting the snow. It's actually good for it because it's putting a bunch of water into the pile here. Oh, all right. My son and I came out here this morning and we started cooking. We got our hose unthawed. He's got himself experiments with pine rosin going there. And he's got himself a nice egg bake cooking, which is going to taste quite good after we're done working out here. So let's take a look at the pond here. Got a little bit of rust and a little bit of dirt. Our whole hose was frozen up. And once we got the water to flow this morning, we kept it in our garage overnight, kept it warm so it would start to melt. And it just shot out like 50 feet of ice, like little icicle chunks that were stuck in there. So we've got really good flow cranking right out of the ground. Lots and lots of water. We've got about 2.5 feet of water in there right now. So I just want to keep an eye on it. I really need to get in the water and press everything out. But as you can see, this whole outer side will press in from the weight of the water. We've got this nice and situated. This end, this wall, and that end are all going to have to be worked from inside the pond, or at least sticking my arms inside. So I'm basically going to strip down to my undies. Not today and not on camera, I don't think. So yeah, I'm going to have to get down in there, and I've done way worse. So it doesn't really scare me to get in cold water, but it should be about 50 degrees plus being in the greenhouse once we let it set, so it won't just be groundwater. And I'm going to wait for a sunny day to do that also. I'll get the liner as smooth as I possibly can. So right now we've just been waiting. It's been like an hour and a half that we've been filling this pond up here, in and out of the greenhouse, just checking on everything that we've got going on outside. Trying to protect everything from the snowstorm we got coming. We've got maybe 4 inches of snow that has fallen and possibly 10 more inches to come. So here we go. So at my estimate, we're sitting with like 9,000 potential pounds of water once this thing is full to the brim. So 9,000 pounds of water is a lot of thermal mass, way better than a 55-gallon drum or a 110, 120-gallon tank. So we will have more water in the pond than we have in all of our thermal masses currently right now. A 55-gallon drum, 120 gallons, and another 110-gallon tank. So we are going to greatly surpass that, double the amount of water that we have in the pond with the 1,000 gallons here. So I quickly want to run over all of the factors that affect the water as a thermal mass. And insulation is number 1 on my list. So I did the insulation on the outside wall to protect from the outside temps seeping through. And it's got like a R factor of 6 or something like that. That's going to be better than with not having any insulation. When I built the greenhouse, I wish I would have insulated all the walls underneath the ground, and you live and you learn. So the next greenhouse will be insulated underground, and we'll dig our geothermal before we build the greenhouse. So temperature difference is going to be the next factor that affects how quickly all of the heat leaves your water. On average, it could lose 5+ degrees Fahrenheit per hour if it's got a decent temperature difference. Now, the temperature difference in here isn't too much. It's usually about 50 to 55 degrees in the greenhouse. That's about what geothermal temps are coming out of our geothermal. So I'm thinking with the 4-foot pond, we're probably in decent shape, and I may put some type of cover over it to hold those temperatures down in there. The surface area is another main factor. We've got, at a rough estimate, 33 square feet of surface area on the top of this pond. I'm going to take measurements after the fact and actually do a thorough investigation on it, but right now, roughly, we've got 33 square feet, and that is a lot of square footage. That's where having some type of cover, I've got all this extra poly I've got much more offcuts that I can use. Having a little bit of extra poly offcuts is always handy, especially when doing stuff like this. I may do some type of PVC hoop or just put boards across it and lay the poly across it so it can still get sunlight in and it can still get heat into it, but it won't lose it as fast. Now, containment is the next factor. So we've got our rubber container, we've got our metal containers, 55-gallon drums and 110-gallon tanks, and those are going to lose heat a little bit faster than a rubber container. And that's where insulation comes to play a factor in the containment of the pond or water source itself. Now, airflow over the water source. So they all kind of go together. We've got 33 square feet of pond surface. Now, if we have a bunch of airflow over it, it's going to cool it much faster and create more evaporation to the atmosphere. So the amount of airflow that we see over our pond is not going to be very great. It's very minimal airflow that goes over the pond. We do move a lot of air off of our stove and our geothermal blows, but it's pointed at this wall. The pond should be pretty good as far as losing heat due to excess airflow. Now, water movement is very important also. Depending on how much water you're moving and how you're moving it, it's going to greatly affect the amount of energy that is released and how quickly. So if you're using like a fish tank jet that blows the water out fast across the surface, it's moving a ton of water and creating a lot of surface area, extra surface area. So what we're doing is using this black hose behind me that we use to run out through our compost pile, very low in the compost pile, hoping for like 70 degrees, not anything crazy. I don't want high temps because we do plan on putting fish in here, and I will talk about that next. But we're just using that garden hose and a small pump to slowly flow the water through, aerate, oxygenate, and put heat in here. So in essence, we will have minimal water movement or disruption. So it'll just be flowing right back in, and it may have a little bit of splashing, but it's not going to be like roughly flowing water. I can hear snow falling off the greenhouse everywhere. I can see my breath a little bit because all the heat coming off of the stove is just pulling right through me. It feels so good to have a stove. The specific heat capacity of water is very high, and it's one of the best thermal masses because, dude, it holds that heat much longer than other sources, sand, rock, stone, all those things. It is the best thermal mass that we can use because we're able to flow it and we can put it through other things, where as opposed you have to put the heat into a rock or sand. You can't flow it like a fluid. So we ordered our tilapia October 12th or October 14th. We're now sitting, December 1st? So
Yeah.
that is a long time to wait, and we still don't have confirmation of when our 50 blue food grade tilapia are coming. So it was a pretty decent investment, a little over $100 for the tilapia. I had so much other stuff to do that the pond kind of sat on the back burner, and once I realized the tilapia were just kind of up in the air on when I would get them, it's kind of sucked, but it worked out for the best because we got all of the other systems situated for heating the greenhouse, and then here comes the pond getting filled. Our goldfish and koi lived in here for 2 or 3 years with a much smaller pond, like a 350-gallon pond, and we never saw ice on the pond. We did cover it a little bit on very cold days. So the blue tilapia is the coldest hardy variety, going down to about 47 degrees Fahrenheit for their low. But that is for adult fish. We're getting fingerling fish. So I don't want to risk losing $100 plus worth of fish that we purchased that we are potentially going to be able to eat. So there's a lot of factors going into this, and I thought I would share why we don't have our tilapia yet. So after probably close to 2 hours, we've got about 3/4 of the way full. Looking good. I'm going to go through and in a separate video, or might not even film the video. I may just work all of this and then I'll bring another video when I start to cut the liner and put rocks around it and stuff. But as of right now, we're acquiring a massive amount of thermal mass for the greenhouse here. Pretty stoked to see the pond have a liner and be coming together. What's your food look like in here?
I don't know.
Oh, my son's egg bake is darn near done. So we're ecstatic that we got our major accomplishment of lining the pond and filling it, because that is a major source of thermal mass for this greenhouse. And with that, that's pretty much it for this video. We've got tons more content coming, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and we're going to let you guys go.